You're not ungrateful. You're awake. This is the Dignity Room, a place that's always yours. Come in.
There's probably a fear, that doesn't announce itself. It's not loud and it doesn't wake you up in panic. It's more like a calculation running somewhere in the back of your mind. And yes, of course, sometimes we hear this also in the outside world, but let's stay with us today. You will be in the middle of something ordinary, like most likely, maybe even something hopeful, thought about changing something, wanting something different, and the calculation begins to run. I'm 40. Is there even time? Haven't I kind of already missed it? And the worst part of that quiet voice is how reasonable it sounds. It doesn't feel like fear, it feels like facing facts. And today, I want to take that voice out of the back of your mind and look at it in the light because, as maybe you also know, this is not true. So, yeah, let's look at too late. Here's the first thing I want to separate out. Your age is a fact, yes. Too late is a story. And those are not the same fucking thing. 40, or whatever age you are, is a number. It's neutral. I mean, I know we get constantly taught that at a certain age you are like, yeah, disappearing. No, it's a neutral number, not more or not less. It doesn't mean anything on its own, but too late, that's a whole narrative you've wrapped around the number. A story that says the important chapters are behind you, that the years ahead are for maintaining, not for beginning. So, yeah, that whoever you were going to become, you already became, and this is it. No, really, no, please. And understanding why that story feels true is, yeah, it's also important to know that because everything around you reinforces it. The culture threats a woman, a woman's 40s and 50s and whatever beyond that number as a slow fade. So as the part where you become less visible and less relevant and less full of possibilities. Yeah. You've absorbed that. We all do. Yeah. So we all have the same kind of issue at some point of our lives. And so the quiet voice says, your time for becoming is over. Now it's just about getting through. And this is so bitter when I hear these thoughts from other women because, I mean, really, it's a pain for me because it's so not true, especially when you get 40. 40 is such an amazing and juicy age, and you can really be happy to be in this age. But okay, let's move on. But here's the thing about the story. It's not describing reality, it's describing the fear. And the fear has a very specific job. It keeps you exactly where you are. This is the problem. Because if it's too late, then there's no point trying, right? And if there's no point trying, then you never have to risk anything. So too late is the most comfortable prison there is. It looks the door and hands you the excuse in the same motion. So, I mean, it's so stupid. And yeah, let's actually do the math. So the real math, okay? Not the panic 2M version math, the real math, because the quiet voice does a calculation, but it creates, it cheats. So it's only counts one side, and this one side is the years behind you, the time you spent functioning. So we stopped that, of course, but okay, there is a time or was a time where you are only functioning, and the years you weren't really living, just getting through. And it says, look how much you've already used up, but it never counts the other side, the years ahead that are coming. So let's count them. Because if you are 40 and we're honest about the way lives actually go now, you could easily have 40 more years. I mean, maybe you have 50 or so, because we get older, and when you take care of your body, of course, then you have definitely more than 40 years ahead of you. That's not that's not like nothing. That's not like a leftover or whatever. Yeah, there's a whole life in front of you, and more importantly, to carve this out. Yeah, because the next 40, 50, maybe 60 years, you live this with a knowledge of like an adult, right? Because the 40 years you have behind you, you weren't the whole years like an adult. You don't have the knowledge you have right now. So the next 40 plus years, you live with a wonderful, amazing knowledge you didn't have before. So you can act on this knowledge now. I mean, imagine how cool that is. So the woman who feels it's too late at 40 has very possibly more adult life ahead of her than behind. Okay? You get it? I mean, this is amazing. So here's where the math really falls apart. The voice assumes that the years ahead will be like the years behind. Yeah? More functioning, more getting through, more of the same gray blah. But that's the one thing that's not fixed. The number of years you can't change. But what those years feel like, whether you spend them behind the glass or actually inside your own life, that is completely open. So the real question was never, is there enough time? There's plenty of time. The real question is, how do you want to spend it? Functioning or awake? And that question had nothing to do with your age. A woman can wake up at 40 or 50 or 60 or whatever age. So the waking up doesn't check your birth certificate. So when you get 40, there is some matching happening. I see this when I get a few steps into numerology. At 40, there is something amazing happening for us women. And I see this all the time when I make the reading. And you feel this. I mean, I know everyone or every woman gets 40. All of them say, hey, there's something happening when I get 40. I mean, maybe you also sense that when you arrive at this age. And there is some wonderful happening for us. And we drain that. We don't allow to flourish, unfortunately. But we will change that. So stay with me. Here's something that I think takes the pressure off completely. So the too late voice gets most of its power from like a hidden assumption that changing your life means starting over, becoming someone new, building a whole different person from scratch. And yes, I mean, at 40 plus, that would feel daunting. But that's not what it is. And this was never about starting over, it's about coming back. This is the good thing. The woman you're trying to reach isn't someone you have to invent. She already exists the whole time. She's the one who went quiet somewhere along the way. It's the one whose wanting faded, whose voice got outvoted for so long, who split herself in two and hide the half of it. And it's also who learned to carry everything and ask for nothing. This kind of woman that you have inside of you and already exists, yeah, she didn't die. She just learned to keep her safe by keeping her quiet. So I hope this was like not too confusing right now. By this said, you can't be too late to return to yourself. That's not how it works. You can be late to a train. Yeah. You cannot be late to your own life. It's waiting for you no matter what. It has been the whole time. It has been there the whole time. You get it, I know. So when you hear or listen to the episodes I had, yeah, then think about everything we've talked about in these first episodes. The quiet, is this it? And the tiredness that was never your failure. The voice you stopped trusting. The floor of your own you're never built. The searching woman you kept hidden, and the invisible load, the 2 a.m. loop. So we talked a lot in the last episodes. And none of those are about age, right? Every single one of them can be met and changed at any point you decide to look. There's no expiry date on waking up. Never. You have always the power to change. So when the voice says it's too late, what it really means is it's scary to want something again. And this is important because, and I say it again because really, when the voice says it's too late, what it really means is it's scary to want something again. And it's true, right? I mean, I guess you feel it. It is scary, but scary and too late are not the same thing. One is a feeling you can walk through. The other is a life that keeps you from even trying. Okay, so what do you do with this? It's less than you think. That's the good news. Because coming back to yourself doesn't start with a dramatic decision. It doesn't start with leaving anything or blowing everything and anything up or reinventing your whole life by Friday. No. It starts with one small act of not believing the lie. And I know this sounds ridiculous, but I tell you this from my own experience. And I was like starting with the same small things where I first thought this is ridiculous. I mean, what should help me? I mean, how should help me this little thing? But it is that easy. So trust the process, okay? And of course, there is more work on that. I would love to help you with that, but here in this sweet little room, we do tiny steps. You can easily try and see results from it. So the next time that quiet voice runs its calculation from too late, missed it, this is just how it is now. I want you to do one thing. Don't argue with it. Don't try to win the debate. Just notice it and say quietly for yourself, or you can also say it out loud as you like. That's fear talking, not fact. Shut up. That's it. That's the whole step, because every time you catch the lie and name it as a lie, you take a little of its power back, and a little is enough to start. Okay? So a little is how everything starts. You have to start with tiny steps and then amplify the steps. And here's where I will leave you as we close out this episode together. So remember the first one, so the first episode, that quiet question in the kitchen. So is this it? I want you to hear it differently now, because back then it sounded like despair, the end of something. But it was never the end. It was the sound of you waking up. It was the most alive part of you lifting its head and asking to come back. And it's not too late. It was never too late. The woman who went quiet is still there, and she's been waiting for you to come back to her. So come back. We've got time, more than you think. We have plenty of time. And I will be walking it right alongside with you. So you don't have to be scary. No, it's a beautiful adventure to come back and to find this quiet place again, this quiet you again, and help her to flourish and come to life again. And when 3 things stay with you today, then maybe that are this one. 1, your age is a fact. Too late is a story. And the story has a job. It keeps you exactly where you are. If it's too late, there's no point trying. And then you never have to risk anything. So too late is the most comfortable prison there is. And you have the power to step out. 2, the math you're doing is wrong. You count the years behind you and never the years ahead. And at 40, you may have more adult life in front of you than behind. So the question never was, is there enough time? It's how you want to spend it, functioning or awake. And 3, this was never about starting over. It's about coming back. You can be late to a train, and you cannot be late to your own life. The woman who went quiet didn't disappear. She's still in there, waiting for you, cheering on you. And there's no expiry date on waking up.
If today resonated, here's the most honest place to go next. Something I recorded just for you. No fluff, just the first real step back to yourself. It's waiting in the show notes. Take care of yourself. This was the Dignity Room.